up, guys?
And welcome back to CNA Films and Animation.
Well, tonight we are going to talk about one movie and two specials following Scooby-Doo. And so, what are we going to talk about tonight?
Well, first, we're going to talk about Scooby-Doo and Arabian Nights, the Scooby-Doo Project, and Scooby-Doo Night of the Living Doo.
Yep. So, we're going to start off with Scooby-Doo and Arabian Nights. This was technically a movie.
Yeah.
Special movie, something like that. Came out in 1994, and
it depicts Scooby and Shaggy. They have come to Arabia to
become food testers for the king.
Yes.
And
being Scooby and Shaggy, they eat all of the food, which is a crime punishable by death.
Yep.
Apparently, and they try to escape and hide very true to Scooby and Shaggy by dressing up. Shaggy ends up dressing up as a harem girl and is mistaken by the king as a potential wife.
Now, going to the king, somehow, I don't fully remember how, but somehow he breaks his glasses and so he can't see.
Yes.
And, you know, that's how he mistakes Shaggy for a harem woman. And so in order to prolong this wedding,
Shaggy starts telling the king stories.
Yep. Now, the voice of the king is the same voice actor who did Mandark from Dexter's Laboratory.
The first story is the version of Aladdin and the magic lamp, if you want to go. It's oftentimes Aladdin and the 40 Thieves is a story.
Yeah.
But this one, it
heavily focuses on him finding the lamp and everything.
Well, yes, but it is a reimagining. Instead of Aladdin, it's a girl named Aladdin. And
so basically there's a prince who is looking for a bride, Aladdin, something like that. She is a peasant who, you know, is in love with the prince. You know, she has her eyes on him, but, you know, obviously peasants and kings never marry. So she knows she has no shot with him.
And she's used by the villain of the story to try and steal the lamp so he can overthrow the king. But because of... It's weird. She's supposed to be pure, not evil at all. And it's the whole story of... It goes into the Tomb of Riches, and you're not supposed to touch anything except the lamp.
Yeah.
She picks a flower, which the flower is actually it's a coin, and which causes her to be sealed in to this tomb, which didn't make much sense, but yeah. They're trying to go with the whole she's pure thing. It's an accident.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. And
eventually she rubs the lamp, which out comes not one genie. Well, okay, one genie and then
a genie in training.
Yeah.
And they are played by Yogi Bear and Boo Boo.
Yes. Yeah.
And with their help, Aladdin finds her happy ending.
Yeah, that's pretty much the story. And you know, there's some twists and turns here and there that are predictable, but That's mainly the first story, and then Shaggy tells the second story to prolong basically to make the movie longer.
Yes.
Is what it comes down to.
The Sinbad, he tells another story dealing with Sinbad, which Sinbad in this one is played by Magilla Gorilla.
Mm-hmm. And there they go on this quest to...
Him and this...
captain.
Yes. Go on a quest for jewels as treasure, which Sinbad just thinks it's a cruise.
Yeah.
It's a weird little story.
And the captain is voiced by the same actor who does the voice of Cow and Chicken from the show Cow and Chicken. And reuses the voice of, it's like heavy on Cow, but there's a mixture of like Chicken and the Red Devil from the show.
Yeah,
he's pretty much all three characters in one, and it's just a weird mesh of, three of my favorite characters from childhood and one character who is in a very odd movie.
Yeah. This movie, it was overall just there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it should have been named Scooby-Doo, because Scooby-Doo actually has very little to do with this film.
Yeah.
Shaggy has more to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
But even on that hand, it should have been, instead of Scooby-Doo Arabian Nights, it should have been just Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
Hanna-Barbera's Arabian Nights, because it has it has a couple Hanna-Barbera characters.
Mm-hmm. Or if they were going to go for a Scooby-Doo thing, I think that they should have had, instead of Yogi Bear and Boo Boo, be Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, or even have main characters in the stories be, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy telling the story.
Yeah.
But instead, they have different characters from Hanna-Barbera, which is fine. It's just, don't say it's Scooby-Doo in...
Yeah, even on that note, its animation is different. It doesn't use the normal Scooby-Doo animation.
Mm.
It used the animation that's more common in Yogi Bear, which is fine. It's just Scooby-Doo kind of looks a little funny in that animation.
Yes, but even Shaggy.
Yes, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, they both do.
Yeah.
Overall, it's kids will like it.
Mm-hmm.
Ones that don't really, I guess, know the characters, they wouldn't be confused because the characters are barely there.
Yeah. The characters are very much side characters, and
yes,
the stories themselves. Well, okay. Sinbad's story is mainly about Sinbad, but the Aladdin, that's more about Aladdin, not so much the genie.
Yes. Which, that story isn't too bad. It is neat that they did kind of a gender swap.
Mm.
Gender swap and story swap. It's a cute little story episode.
Yeah.
It just, overall, it's very bland.
Yeah.
And not really that interesting.
It's an okay kids film, but as a Scooby-Doo film, it is terrible. I mean, Scooby-Doo's in it, and he has all those mannerisms, but he's barely in it. So that's one of the main problems with this.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd say, it's a skip, but...
Yeah, definitely a skip.
But, I mean, if you're interested, by all means.
Yeah. If you're a diehard fan, this one's not really even worth mentioning.
Yeah.
It has nothing really to do with Scooby-Doo at all.
And, so what would you give it out of 10?
I don't know. It's 4.6.
Okay.
For that, the first story was okay. You could have told it without it being without Yogi and Boo Boo, it'd have been probably the same.
Mm-hmm.
It probably would have been ranked a little higher if it didn't have the Hanna-Barbera characters as they are. If it was just its own independent thing, I think it could have been a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just seeing these characters as that, and you know what these characters have done in other series and other movies and whatnot. It's just not using them very well.
Yeah.
It's just to have them. How about you?
Yeah, I honestly probably go about 3.5, and the reason I'm giving it that high is because, one, it did have some original ideas, or at least interesting twists, and two, because there were some voice actors in there that were recognizable and were a lot of fun to, like, for me to pick up and, like, hey, that's that voice actor from that show.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally, like, flipped out whenever I heard cow and chicken voice actor. He can attest to that.
He did, literally. Oh my god!
It took me a second to figure out where it was from, but when I did,
that's okay. Who is it? Out with the nine.
Cow. No, Red Devil. Chicken. It's, from Cow and Chicken.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next short. Well, next two we're going to talk about are shorts.
Their specials. The Cartoon Network showed both of them things.
Yeah. First one we're going to talk about is Scooby-Doo Project. This was a parody of the 1999 film The Blair Witch Project.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically a short that follows Scooby-Doo and the gang.
Yeah, and they're filming it themselves. Velma's filming it.
Mm-hmm. And they hear that there's like this monster or ghost or something, and they're trying to figure out, what it is. And
it's neat. It looks like they take the characters from the original Scooby-Doo, Where Are You,
mm-hmm.
and put them into the real world.
Yeah.
So you get this two-dimensional character against the
three-dimensional backdrop.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's neat, and it's really interesting to see that. But the version that we saw, I think, was...
It was incomplete. It had been doctored.
Yeah, it doctored and, like he said, incomplete because... from what I hear, there's a scrappy part, and that was not part of what we watched. And then also, there's a scene near the end that seems to be on a loop. Plus, they play...
what we watched had a loop when they're doing the whole running in and out of the doors.
Yeah. And it's all to the song of Chuck Berry's Johnny Be Good. And which I think is not what the original song would have been.
This short was neat. It was kind of fun for poke fun at. It poked fun at itself, the Blair Witch Project.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny. I didn't like the end too much.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it stayed a little too maybe too true to the Blair Witch Project.
Uh-huh.
It's like, these kids were never found.
Yeah.
I think it would have been funnier, more in line with Scooby-Doo if, like, I don't know, right after the running scene, they well, actually, I bet the bad guy was Scrappy or something.
It could have been.
It's hard since we didn't actually watch.
Well, the version that we saw was on YouTube. That was the only one I could find, and it is what it is. I think Cartoon Network showed it maybe once, maybe twice at most.
Yeah, well, what I think should have happened at the end, where I don't know, like Scooby and Shaggy while running trip or something, and then the bad guy trips over him, and they find it, whoever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Then at the end, it'd say the teens were found the next morning, some crap, after using the phone from in the house. Mm-hmm. And then like right after that, Scrappy was never seen again. Just a little tie. I know a lot of people do have problems with Scrappy.
Uh-huh.
And it would have kind of went in and gave fans a little laugh at the end.
Yeah.
That's what I think of it.
Yeah, and I do think that there's some, good stuff with this short. It's about 12 minutes long, maybe. And, it is funny at times. It is clever. It pokes fun at itself and everything. The continuous loop really brought it down, which is not the short's fault. It's whoever edited that.
Yes.
But still, there was some good elements to it. But it just was like a weird combination.
Yes, it was.
It was a weird combination. So, if you're interested, I say, go ahead and check it out. But otherwise, it's not pressing that you have to see it.
Yes. And since we did not see the full thing, I don't think we can really give this a rating, especially since it's a special.
It's a short. I wouldn't rate this.
If you want to see it, go out and find it. If you don't, you're not really missing anything.
Yeah. Now let's move on to the last short. This one is from 2000, and it was titled Night of the Living Do. And pretty much it follows Scooby and the gang. They are, driving along, and they come across a hitchhiker who is none other than Gary Coleman, the famous child actor from the TV series Different Strokes, whose infamous line is, what you talking about, Willis?
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, exactly. So, car keeps breaking down. Gary Coleman's like, I can fix it.
They make fun of themselves a little because in a lot of the Scooby-Doo series, they break down right in front of a haunted place or something. And they're like, oh, it looks like we'll have to stay in this haunted house tonight. Gary Coleman, nah, I got this.
Changes the tire, puts gas in it.
Finally, Fred's like, okay, I got this. He crashes the van into a tree so they actually can go solve a mystery.
Yeah. And they end up going and, landing in front of this castle that is shark infested.
Yes. By Jabberjaw.
Yeah. So Jabberjaw is, the shark, and he makes a small cameo there. And they go inside and find out that the castle is run by the comedian David Cross, who is best known for, his stand-up plus, TV show Arrested Development, and he's been in several movies and everything, which, it turns out that he's running this castle, and he has a butler, or...
What's his name? I can't remember.
Shivers?
No, it starts with an S, but... Mr. Shifty. That's a great name.
Yeah, Mr. Shifty, and, there's a zombie on the loose, and they're trying to figure out, who's the zombie, or, trying not to get turned into a zombie themselves.
Yeah. Throughout, they're making fun of themselves with how easily clues are found and just random stuff. They put in more adult humor.
Yeah.
Into it,
which was very funny. It was a little
weird to see it from a Scooby-Doo special, but it worked out for most of it.
Yeah, it really worked well. It blended the humor very well, and it was just really enjoyable. And, a lot of twists and turns. We're not going to spoil the ending because I say you have to check this one out.
No respect. No respect.
But, I really enjoyed this one.
And even at the end, it makes fun of itself for its ending that makes no sense at all. But it's really funny.
Yeah. Like I said, several twists and turns that make for a fantastic 15 minutes.
Yeah. This one, I'd have to say check out. It's if you like the Scooby-Doo series, it touches on a lot of points. I think this is one, even if you didn't like the series, it could, like, yeah, that's why I didn't like it. That exactly.
Yeah, it's a very funny, very clever.
It is.
Little short.
Yes, we both really enjoyed it.
In fact, of all the things that we've reviewed so far, I would say that this has been my favorite.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed Boo Brothers, but not nearly as much as I did when I was a kid. Ghoul School's alright, but this one I'd say, had the laughs, had the characters down, and overall was just a very enjoyable ride.
Okay.
So, tell us, guys, have you seen Arabian Nights or these two shorts? If you have, what'd you think of them? Did you like them? Dislike them? Share your thoughts, comment below, let us know. Love to hear your feedback.
Yes. If you like this video, be sure to check out our other videos. Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe.
Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm Corey.
I'm Alan.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you guys later.